Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And we have an amazing guest on this morning. You know her, you love her. It's that time. Confession time. Confessions of an Army nurse
Ooh, this could get deep.
turned freelancer, freelance digital marketer. You like that?
Set free, 1000%. I love it.
You ready? You ready to spill the tea today?
Let's
Kim,
go.
are you ready to confess all of your dirty digital marketing sins?
The tea is piping hot.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's none of my business, though. Do you remember the Kermit the Frog meme where he was like, "Well, that's none of my business, though," and he's sipping his tea?
That was one of my favorites.
Mine too. I use that religiously. All right, so we're going to give you guys some tea, some dirt, some behind the scenes, juice. We're going to talk about the then and the now this morning. We're not just going to talk about the then, and we're not just going to talk about the now. We're going to talk about the then and the now. What does that mean? Where we came from, but also where we're at right now and what we're doing right now and what's hot right now. So you can understand what to do with maybe your newfound excitement and this kind of direction that you have, and also maybe some frustration that you have. Who knows? The journey's full of all kinds of crazy times, right, Kim? It's ups and downs. It's all around.
1000%. 1000%. Can't be up.
So, we'll start. Excuse me. We'll start with now, which is over the past month-ish. We launched something called the Project 1000. Excuse me, Project. Got a little ahead of myself.
We can do 1,000.
Project 100X challenge, challenging our affiliates to post 100 pieces of content over per month, and do that for 100 days straight. So just over 3 months total. And some soldiers are soldiering. How are you? What are you seeing, and how are things going in your eyes? What do people need to be better at? What are people doing a good job at? What sort of things could just what feedback or advice do you have about the whole thing?
Well, so I can't even remember what day we're on. I was going to ask in the group the other day. I feel like the affiliates are getting to know me enough to know that when I say I'm a hot mess, it's like, what day are we on? Somebody's got to know. I feel like no stress with Jess. No, she's always posting daily, but
no stress.
Tell me what day we're on. But here's the thing. I think the hottest tea I have for you, and Dave revealed this earlier, is it doesn't end. It doesn't end at 100 days or however. So, and the reason I can say I have no idea what day we're on is because this is my life. This is what you do, is post every day, make it a routine every day. And if you fell off, just get back up. Just post again. Start posting again. And it's about finding what works in your routine. A lot of people will ask me all the nitty-gritty questions of how I do this, how I fit it into my life, etc. And right now, Dave asked me, like, you want to be on Wake Up Legendary? I can, but when I started, when I was in your shoes, I couldn't just hop on Wake Up Legendary. My schedule was totally different. So I had to figure out how it fit in my life then. Honestly, I put my head down. I put my blinders on. I set up boundaries. I said no to a lot of things, and I still do. And I just became obsessed with this. I needed it to work. I wanted it to work. And it's not about motivation. It's about dedication. It's about, if I want it to work, then I have to figure out how it's going to work. And I put my head down and I made it work. So I'm not saying it was like every day it was like amazing. I was saying there were a lot of days that I was frustrated. There was a lot of days, a lot of times I posted and I was like, I thought that was really going to do well, and it didn't. And it has nothing to do with the algorithm. It had everything to do with the quality of content. And I think that's the hardest part, is knowing that you're trying, but it's not going anywhere, which means it's not resonating with your target audience. So you got to take it. That's constructive criticism. It went nowhere. Okay. I have to make something different. I have to do something different. Another thing I see is advice. People will ask for advice. I give advice. And then it's, I tried that, that didn't work. But my next question is, how long did you try that for? Because when I say you have to do something on social media for like 3 to 4 months before you can tell if that's actually going to work, I'm not kidding. Every time I make a change in my strategy, I wait it out before I say that worked or that didn't work, unless it's something super, super obvious. And so I was going to spend 15 to 20 years in a corporate job. And it's 2.5 years later, and I no longer have to go to that corporate job. So like put it into perspective. If it doesn't happen in a few weeks, that's okay. Let's try again. Do it again. What did Michael Jordan say? How many shots did he hit?
We love our Michael Jordan quotes. I don't know, but it was a lot. No, I get it, and I think that you know it can be frustrating for sure, and you know any business is, and so you know you just have to decide. You have to, you know, for me, it's about raising your frustration tolerance, raising your stress tolerance. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, if every little thing stresses you out and pushes you to a place to where you can't handle something, then that's going to be an indicator of the amount of success that you're going to achieve. That's just the bottom line. And you know, I think over the years I've gotten to know what my tolerances are, you know, and I think that this is the question, you know, that they ask you whenever you say, for example, you want to go in and invest some money in you go to you know, a brokerage or a investment firm, which is basically just somebody taking your money and investing it in various equities and bonds and so forth, usually, and they get a percentage whether it grows or not, just a percentage of how much ever you're going to have them manage. And you know, usually the question that they ask is, I say all that to say, what's your risk tolerance, Mrs. Bollom? What's your risk tolerance?
Well,
And
the T is that I have no patience. Ask my children. I have no patience. So I get it. For anyone who's like, I'm impatient. Oh, I get it. I have no patience. The kid phase is hard. Like the noise and all the things going on in the background. Like when they go to school, I'm like, silent. Give me some silence. It's hard. It's hard.
yeah,
But if you want
yeah,
it, if you don't want to work for someone, if you want to have days where you don't have to go in, like you have to put the work in, and that's when you know that that's what keeps you going. But it's not like it's rainbows and sunshine and unicorn farts every day. Let's be honest. I mean, still, you know, there's a lot of things that are just going to try to keep knocking you down. But like
yeah.
I don't watch TV. I mean, I have a few shows I'd probably want to watch, but I don't really go out. I say no to a lot of invites. I just
Mm.
trimmed the fat in life. And I have the time to do that now. And I don't find that beneficial. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things. I just, as you move through this process, your being grows too. And I'm like, I can see why I was so comfortable in that environment before, and how different, like being different and trimming some of that fat out of life can make you a better entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, what are some of those when we talk about trimming fat and we talk about confessions?
Mhm.
What are some of those areas of fat that you had to trim in your life?
Well, the first one is doom scrolling. And then the second one was doom scrolling after I became an entrepreneur, like over consuming what everyone else is doing. And that just made me more confused, more frustrated, the comparisonitis. And I feel like that's obvious and you all can relate to that. But if you can put there's true, I always joke with my husband if, I'm on the couch and like my kids are like, "Hey mom, da da da." And my husband's like, "Hey." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not doing market research. I'm doom scrolling." Like I know the difference. And there are times I will go on social media and I'm looking for hooks. Like I'm looking for something for the business. But I really, before all of this, I didn't think I spent that much time on social media. And when I really started looking at how much time I spent on social media, it was like 3 to 4 hours a day total. So, I mean, I was always picking up my phone when I was at work, when I was on lunch break. And I told myself, if I don't even need to set time aside to work on this. If I can just cut that shit out. So, I mean, I still did, but I was like, wow, where does this 3 to 4 hours a day come from? And that's just the doom scroll.
Were
So I was
you
like,
looking at your phone analytics that was telling you how much screen time you were using?
oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
that's a shameful page to go, isn't it?
Depressing. It's depressing. I mean, think about like how many times do you pick up your phone? And then how many times are you like, I pick up my phone to like put the grocery order in, and like an hour later, I'll be like, the grocery's not started, the order's not started. So like, we do that. That's human nature. And I was like, I gotta cut that out. I have to cut that out. You're losing life. You're losing life. I have my kids' friends will come over for like play dates, and they'll say like my parents are always on their phone. And I'm like, I believe it. Everyone's always on their phone. And I can't imagine what it would like to be my kids' age right now where they don't have phones yet. Like my son's in 4th grade and all they see is their adults like this all the time. Even in the cars, like this one kid is like, my mom texts and drive. And I was like, like easy, dude. But like it's so true. And then my husband and I used to watch like we didn't watch TV every night or anything, but we would always be watching some series, and we would always end up one more episode, and then I'd be exhausted in the morning. But like, what did I gain from that? Uh, so I was like, I gotta cut that out. I gotta cut that out, get some better sleep if I want to work on this. And then I think so those are obvious, but I think the hardest one is recognizing some relationships in your life, whether it be family. I know I came on here the one time Dave asked me some hard questions. When I came back from the military, our family did not welcome us. And that was really hard, but I tried so hard to make those relationships work. I invested a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of emotion, um, trying to make those work. And I am like, "Ugh, well, I'm glad I know, but I'm no longer spending time. I'm no longer extending olive branches. I'm no longer, if they want to be a part of my life, they will. So I'm not exhausting my mind with those thoughts. I'm not exhausting my precious resource of time trying to spend with people who obviously don't want to spend with me. And some of those relationships as well are like friends who I thought were really good friends. And Dave, I know you know this too, and you talk about this a lot, but if you have a friendship and you're like, I'm not loving it right now, ask yourself, is it because you started this business? Because I have a few friendships that I thought were die hard and they're sizzling fast. And it's hard to watch, but at the end of the day, I've dissected it and I'm like, it's because I've started seeing success and people hate that. And it's just
And
jealous.
isn't that it's such a weird thing, right? It's like, is there a phenomenon that happens that when you actually begin to, when you have something that suddenly you gets you attention, or you have, um again, something positive that's happening, getting you positive attention, or you're positively something, making money, whatever, that people are, they they again, it's a phenomenon. They suddenly, normally they were a different way, and now they're suddenly different. They're different towards you. Is that, what
Yeah,
is that phenomenon? Is that real, and what is that?
I I don't know, but it's something and I'm like, I don't know if it's jealousy, I don't know if it's spite, but it's like when you were like when I was like just came back, lowest of low, working all these hours, exhausted, had no support system, I would reach out to these people and I was like, "Oh, poor me, my life." And they were kind about it, supportive. But then when I crawled my butt out of that hole and started seeing success and climbing to new heights, they're like, not interested. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So you wanted, did you want to see me like that? Or like, were you there for the drama? Were you there for the tea? But it sucks though. So that's why I'm standing here from a perspective of like somebody who's obviously very, just a couple years in. Like, ask yourself if those relationships are worth your time. And
Yeah.
where do you need to establish boundaries? Because you'll
Yeah,
find you have a lot more time for your business when you trim that fat.
and it's almost weird, right? It's like depressing in so many ways, that like relationships can change that easily. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's really weird. I mean, it's sad. I mean, I think there's a part of it that's really kind of many of us haven't really ever challenged our relationships, with anything that's outside of, I mean, in some ways, a lot of people, you may have always struggled, and people just always view you as somebody who's struggling, or just, sacrificing in some way, right? I mean, is just like you guys coming back from, coming back home, and not being accepted, or um valued, as you mentioned a few moments ago, inside your own family. Very weird, very odd.
Mhm.
Right, for some reason, you now being present was a threat. It didn't fit somebody's image of you, who they needed you to be. And, human beings are, it takes a lot of self-esteem to be able to be okay with somebody and celebrate them and not be threatened by them, no matter what they are, and what they're accomplishing, or what they're doing with their life. I mean, it's probably one of the ultimate success secrets, is actually being able to not feel jealousy, but instead, or not feel inadequacy or threatened by somebody else's achievements, and if somebody's and actually feel pulled to want to be around winners. And there is a true clear line in life between winners and losers. And that I don't mean that people are good or bad. I do think there's some evil people on this planet. I do think evil exists. I didn't used to, but I've now seen it in people and had actual therapists work with me to try to understand that there's some people that do have way different intentions that I can't relate to. But for the most part, I think that we're not talking about good or bad. We're talking about something different here. And we're talking about just doing the work and building a business and what that experience is like. And that's a whole experience. And if you're not ready to take it on and all of the realities that come with it, then you're going to just be sitting on the sideline wondering what happened. You ever heard of that quote that's like, there's 3 types of people in the world. There's the people that make shit happen. There's the people that, I don't know, watch things happen or something. And then there's people that are like, what happened? And it's like, you don't want to be in life the person that's like, what just happened? And so you can't be that as a business owner for sure. You got to be somebody who's making things happen, or somebody who's, at the very least watching things happen and being honest that you're not making them happen. But don't be the person that's like, what happened? Like, oh shit, how'd I get here? It's like, that's like people who buy a course, which is what we sell here at Legendary. And it's like, and then, a month or 2 months or 6 months later, when they've not done jack shit, they want to, say that, I didn't, whatever the thing is, I didn't get support. The thing was to this or to that, or, I did what they told me, but and you damn well didn't. And, and it's like, the barrier to entry nowadays in some businesses is almost too low, where somebody can buy something for just 20, $100, a couple of $1,000, learn a skill set and start a business without a degree or without any of the traditional things you needed to get a job. But you can start a business, and that's somehow also given people the mindset that they're somehow also entitled to success. If they buy the thing or they start the business, that they're also, it's almost like playing a game. I'm entitled to finish the game, when in reality, that's not how it works. Anyways, I'm touching a bunch of things. What's coming up for you?
I think the biggest thing for, like you said it at the beginning, is like, when somebody else succeeds, are you genuinely happy for them? And it's okay. Like, I think as humans, like, it's okay to be like, but recognize that. I have 2 kids. One kid, he's like an anomaly. Like, I'm like, how are you so positive all the time? It's like, he's so optimistic about every situation. And I mean, he lost a hockey game the other day, 15-1. This is hockey. And I mean, it was brutal. And he got off that ice and he fell asleep in the car. He's 10, first of all. So he never falls asleep in the car. Busted his butt to the last second of the game. And he's like, it's all right, Mom. He's like, that was really good practice. I'm like, that was rough. I wasn't happy for the other team. I was like, what the heck? It's a mom sitting there in yellow. I was like, whew, we got to get out of here. But this kid walked off the ice and he's like, it's okay. I got to practice on some things. I'm like, what? The whole team does? Yeah. But then there's like my daughter, for example, I don't know, I got a boy and a girl. I was the first time doing both of them. She could not be happy for someone to save her life. It's normal human behavior, but also like as she grows, that's something we need to work on. Like it's okay that somebody else is doing better and working on those things in life that we need to do. There's healthy competition. There's ways to recognize like, whoa, they achieved that. And at, like, do I want that? Or is that really suck? Like, am I really mad about it or do I really want that? And because there's people, when you're in this, there's people that are going to come online and tell you all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, it's so easy for me to block and delete now, whereas at the beginning I used to let it get in my head. At the end of the day,
Mm,
it's it's human behavior, and it just tells you where that person is at in life. And those people who are genuinely happy for people, like, I don't know, regardless of what they're doing in life. Like my son is 10 and is in fourth grade. I don't know. I'm like, I can learn so much from that behavior because I want to be around that kind of behavior. My daughter, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna get off the bus at 4:30 and it's gonna be a mess until I put her to bed. So
mm.
it's like self-recognition. Um, but yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, so that stood out to you about the point about um basically just if you're going to be successful, you need to learn how to be happy for people, right? And actually be able to celebrate people. And that is something that I've both noticed within myself, but I also then notice it within other people too, right? It's like, oh, am I able to be happy for this person? Do I legitimately feel happy or do I feel threatened by them? Do I feel a little jealous? And it's like I have those feelings too, and it's a battle. I have my own ego. It's like I'd be lying if I said I never felt any feelings of competition. I think that's more of the feeling that I feel is that shit's a competition more than I feel feelings of jealousy, right? Because if I'm like, I mean, for a man, right, it's like there's so many things that you can be competitive about with other dudes, right? It's like you can be competitive about your wealth or your money, your financial success. You can be competitive about,
How green
your
your lawn is, that's my husband's arrow right now. I'm like, "Let it go. Let it
yeah,
go."
facts. Yeah, for sure stuff like that, right? The lawn, definitely the lawn. I God, I've been there. I'm not there right now, but I think my lawn I've got one of those lawns that it requires no upkeep. It's like there's no plants. It's all either artificial turf or it's plants that don't ever they need very little maintenance.
I'm
It's
so
a
jealous.
zero tech, I think is
Zero.
what it's called.
I'm
Zero
so
tech or
happy
some
for
shit
you.
like that. Yeah. No, look, trust me.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. And look, so for me, I think that but I think primarily beyond those feelings of competition that I feel towards other guys, for example, I primarily feel happy for dudes, and for chicks, I don't even feel with chicks, it's a whole different thing. I'm literally on some primal type stuff, right? I don't look at women and be like, all right, or like I'm in competition with them. It's only at other dudes that I'm like, and I do it. Look, the reason why I've come up with Kim these sayings over the years, the comparisonitis, the scoliosis, these little things, they're because I've done them myself,
Yeah.
like I'm the head I'm the chief. I'm not only, what did Notorious B.I.G. say? He said, I'm not only a client, I'm the player president. And for me, it's like, I'm not only the comparisonitis, you know, teacher or talker, or I talk about it. I'm also the comparisonitis president. You know, I've compared myself as much as anybody, and I get stupid with it. I go and compare myself to Tony Robbins or compare myself to some other, you know, person that's way out of my league, but I compare myself to him, and I feel like it yields me pretty good results because I get into this delusional phase of actually thinking that I could accomplish a percentage of what that person's accomplished with some hard work. And, you know, go and figure. I do, you know,
Right.
I do, right? It works. It's
Yes.
not like, you know, I mean, you know, I'm just a mere peasant out here, but it's still afforded an old construction worker, an old recovering drug addict, a guy who should have been, you know, working a job or, you know, working construction here, an ability to be able to, you know, have a pretty nice life. And so, you know, that's my perspective on, you know, on things in that realm. And I think that you know, it's fun and productive to look at things in that respect.
Well, we've both been in like the trenches, right? So like I know when I see someone act or say something a certain way that comes off like, I usually go, "Oh, I recognize that. I've been there. I've had those thoughts." And I go, like, "I'm so glad I'm no longer there. I'm so glad I'm able to recognize what that is. That it's a reflection of that person." And all it says to me now is, and as I get older and into my 40s, I'm like, the circle is getting smaller, and that's okay. I saw a quote the other day and I loved it. It was, your circle shouldn't be a cage. And I'm like, that's so true because you feel trapped in those sometimes. It's like go find your circle. And through this whole journey, that's been like my thing is like finding the people. Like you're looking up to Tony Robbins, and I'm over here like if I had a fraction of the success of Dave Sharpe, like that would
Oh,
be, you know, like so it's like there's this whole hierarchy. Like it's okay to look up to the people who are doing exponentially better than you. I have a lot of rungs to climb still, so it's going to keep you
sure.
going if you don't have those goals. And I'm not great at setting goals. My husband is in my ear all the time about the way I talk to myself, the way I talk about like the positive mindset because I have imposter syndrome. On the way to Austin, literally in the airplane, I was like, who am I? I have no business being on that stage. He's like, we gotta work on this because you're going up here. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, don't freak out now. Don't spiral out of control.
Right. Yeah, we're going. And then it's like, what are your goals? What's your goal for this year? I'm like, do better than last year. He's like, let's put some stuff on paper, Kim. Like, so find your people, find your circle that's gonna
That's
support you. Like,
sweet. That's
if I
cute.
ask Dave, like, how do I get to where you are? He's gonna give me some tips. But if I ask these people who I was talking about earlier, where I got to cut ties with them, they're gonna bring me down to their level. Where I'm not going
Mm,
anywhere. So
yeah.
don't tap yourself into stuff and people that are not doing much for you.
Yeah. I know. And it's not easy to let them go. It's not easy to, you know, back away or to, you know, navigate relationships just in general, you know. And of course, I'm not an advocate of just walking away from everything in your life or from relationships without really being thoughtful because it may be you may be the problem.
Mhm.
Likely you are the problem, right? Likely you are the problem. so often we are so quick to blame everybody else, but the truth is likely you are the problem, just like I was the problem. And, if for example, if I wasn't getting the support of my spouse or somebody in my life, I needed to do a better job at selling them. I was, there's always a way for you to turn it around on you. And if one of the confessions that I will make to you all is that ruthless level of it's almost, I mean, some of you are hard-headed enough and you could just look at it like that if you want to, but it's being so hard-headed about just taking responsibility for everything around you. It's becoming the guy, for those of you guys who are listening, maybe there's another way you can frame it for women, Kim, but it's for the guy, it's being the guy who always pays, being the I got it guy, being the guy who's just, you're going to handle it. You're going to take care of it. You're going to find a solution for it.
The hype girl.
And in business, the beautiful part is that, fellas, you don't have to, it is just about business. It is just about money. You don't have to worry about everybody's feelings because you're not in a relationship with anybody in your business. So you don't have to be an ass, but you also don't have to, how with your lady or whatever, it's like, it ain't about money. It's about the feelings and all this other shit that we struggle with. We struggle with that stuff, right? You don't have to do any of that in business, fellas. You just do all the stuff you want to do. So in many respects, I say to the fellas, man up and go out there and start and operate your damn business like a baller and stop being a weasel. Stop being a weenie on the sidelines. Get out there and be a man, for God's sakes. I think in some respects we got to stop pussyfooting around with everybody in this space, this entrepreneur space, especially with the launch of AI, which we're going to be doing a lot of, Kim, coming here over the next through 2025 for sure. And in 2026, it could be something totally different, people. It could be robots. I don't know. But in 2025, it's AI, baby. It's A to the I. Take those two words, put them in your pipe, and you'll be smoking them all year. And that's what we're going to be focused on here. We're coming out with some new AI training and some new opportunities, some new funnels, some new products. I mean, really a whole epic drop of AI challenges and content, Kim, that's going to really change the game for people and also be really exciting to look at from the perspective of going back through that training, going through those challenges, just gobbling all of that up from, the perspective of just somebody who's trying to learn this stuff. How can I get AI to actually work for me as my assistant? Because nowadays everybody's like, was a common thing that people used to say, well, when do I need to hire my first employee? When do I start outsourcing? Well, now you never outsource. AI does everything for you. You don't need to outsource. You don't need to spend the money. You just become superhuman when you know how to use the tool. That's what we're going to be focused on teaching people here. Brand new training here is dropping within the next 30 days. And we are going to be, kind of really taking things to the next level as we finish 2025 this year, 2025. Is it 2025? Holy crap. It'll be 2026 here very soon. But anyways, to close out 2025, that's going to be our focus. And I couldn't be more excited about it.
I'm super excited. I'm completely in the dark, y'all. So don't come at me asking me what Dave was talking about. I'm in the dark, but I'm ready to promote the shit out of whatever it is.
Well, it's going to be potentially, and I would say it'd have to be close, if not the best work we've ever put out and done here at Legendary. there's just a lot of things that over time you become better at. We take our production levels and quality up. We take our ability to be able to, teach these concepts to a large group of people. We take those up in a simpler format. So, I mean, we're all about upgrading our education and constantly improving and making it as easy and as fun and as simple to get with as much support as possible. And we're always that's what we do here is we try to figure out how can we teach concepts. And one of the ways that we teach concepts is we show up here every morning on this show. And people watch this show. I mean, there's people who watch this show every single morning, and there's thousands of people who tune in and catch 5 minutes here, 15 minutes here, just tune in throughout especially when they want to hear the confessions of an Army nurse, So, so the way in which we showing up here doing this is important to our education. The way in which we deliver our workshops, the way in which we deliver our course material, all of it is important. The way the strategies that we're using today compared to a couple of years ago, some of them are different. So there's just upgrades, improvements, things that we want to do to make sure our number one priority with our training is making sure people actually take it. That's the number one focus of our training. It has become that. And so it's shortening it up. It's making it more crisp. It's making it more clean. It's delivering it in sort of special kind of masterclass formats versus longer courses with lots of videos. And it's figuring out how to say all the things that we need to say in shorter periods of space, more powerful, more explanations, but still shorter, so we can ensure that people actually are watching and consuming to understand the concepts. Because unlike traditional college, where you take a test at the end of the semester and you have to pass, we're not testing people here. So that traditionally we have not been able to test somebody at the end of something to ensure that they've gotten the concepts and that they've understood the concepts. So it's about figuring out, although we're unconventional in the way that we teach things, we want to remain effective and, phasing certain things out that are not effective in terms of educating our clients and introducing things that are going to be more effective are what this is about. As well as right now, it's just no way around it. AI is taking over the stratosphere and it's changing the game. And so this is what we're going to be focused on teaching people. And it's going to be one of our definitely our most exciting seasons, because people are like, they're salivating at the mouth for this. They want this. They know they need this. And they know that they may not be replaced by AI, but they're going to be replaced by somebody who knows AI if they don't learn it. Mm-hmm. And that's the bottom line, because chips are being made in the billions and trillions. Chip making companies like NVIDIA are the most expensive, highest valued companies in the world right now. There's no faster growing companies over the past 20 years than these chip makers. This AI thing is real. It's real money. It's really here. It's really being dialed in and taken to the next level. And if you're a marketer or you have any presence online or you want to have a business online, what will separate you from other people coming on in 6 to 12 months will be your ability to be able to understand and use AI to your advantage, and not be like, what happened? Didn't I say that a few minutes ago? There's 3 types of people who make things happen. What is it, guys? Anybody know? Make things happen, watch things happen, and then say, what happened? And if you come on the internet 6 to 12 months down the road and you're going, what happened with AI, right? Well, you're going to be in a totally different ball field. You're going to be on a totally different sport field. You're not even going to be playing the same sport, let alone in the same league as people who understand and know how to use AI now versus trying to come on and use it and figure it out 6, 12 months from now, 18 months ago. There's no more time. You got to act now. You got to learn this stuff now. And you're doing your family and your coworkers and business a disservice if you're not using artificial intelligence as your actual main browser and question asker all throughout the day. Because you should, and I hate to say this is just where we're at. It's smarter than your dumb friends and your uncle and my dumb friends and my uncle and aunts and everybody else too. You go there and you ask it. You're doing your friends, your family, and your coworkers and your business a disservice if you're not asking AI questions all throughout the day about various things that you're thinking. You've never had so much power at your fingertips, but you don't know how to leverage it in your business right now to its fullest potential. And that's what we're going to be teaching here. New training dropping over in the next 30 days. Also save the date for the Nashville Mastermind first weekend of September. A lot of stuff's popping and dropping over here, Kim. Take us home because I got work to do. I'm sure you do too.
Things to do. I was going to say it, but Dave already said it. If you have not opened up ChatGPT and started to use it yet, do it for everything you do today. Your grocery list, your trip to Disney World, your business. Like before you ask somebody, how do I connect this to this? Ask it ChatGPT. Just chatgpt.com. If you haven't already, do that first. You might just knock your socks off. And if you're an affiliate for LM, I did a little thing while you're waiting for Dave's training to come out in the Facebook affiliate group telling you how to get your ChatGPT to be your hype girl. Like I will go to my ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm doing this, and it will come back like, woohoo, Kim, I knew you could do it. And I'm like, okay, like, thanks, man. That's cool.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, it really, every day, I, like Dave was saying, I talk to that thing all day. I never shut that tab. Use it. I'm excited for this training. I'm excited for Nashville too.
Yeah, it's all going to be great. All good things, doing what we do best, which is just doing online marketing, training delivered simply and with integrity, my friends. It's been our banner. It's been our headline. It's been our North Star. It's just teaching people the same skills that taught me how to, provide for myself after, being a high school dropout, recovering addict, construction worker who had literally no marketing, business, tech, or any other job skills, really. With a little bit of grit and a little bit of brain cells that I had left and a little bit of effort and the ability to be able to endure some stress and some frustration and follow through and just learn how the internet worked. And it's not that hard. It's like anything else. People are learning and spending hours, as you pointed out earlier in the show, on their phones, learning games, Fortnite, selling things on eBay, gambling apps, casino, this, that, all kinds of different things that we get good at. We're not stupid. You get results out of the things that you put time, energy, and effort into is what you're going to get a result out of. That's just the bottom line. And so, I mean, this is not for everybody, but this is a show and a community of people who are building businesses. So just remember that too. We love you, and we love having all of our, we love having fun, I guess, for lack of better terms. But also remember that, if the things that are said don't resonate, then it's like, well, I mean, this is a show for entrepreneurs. This is a show for people who are looking to start a business. And that requires real raw truth, and that requires getting honest with yourself about some stuff. And I think for the most part, a lot of the skills, and especially things that I've laid out that like today, are things that will benefit you also in the rest of your life. Taking ruthless personal responsibility.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a pretty damn good characteristic that I promise you, if you basically never rely on anybody else to do anything for you, and you just basically act at all times like nobody's coming to save you, your freaking life will just get so much better, because you'll realize that, look, I'm basically responsible for my happiness. I'm responsible for my safety, to a certain extent. If somebody's trying to legitimately hurt you, there's going to be people who are here for you, and we don't, that's one of the benefits of living in a first world country. Hopefully, we any of us could get help if that was the case. But beyond that, just living a regular life. Come on, man.
Mic drop right there.
Come on.
Look at all the fire.
Is there a lot of fire going on?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't see. Is there? Okay. I see. Yeah, we got. I can't.
Some
Well,
mics
hey, look. And I'm not. Look, this is just reality. This is just shit you need to hear before you're 24 years old. Oh, damn, you're hearing this at 54. Well, sorry.
a little late,
But
yeah.
It's better late than never. And look, this is the kind of things you need to hear if you're going into business battle, right? The same way that you would need to hear if you were going into another type of battle. Kim, you can speak to this, in being not only prepared through a boot camp of going and physically being stressed, but also being told and explained a bit through a boot camp moving into the army, which I'm sure you went through, that, hey, these are some of the conditions that you may endure and have to face as if you go into battle, or if you're deployed somewhere. Things could get tough.
Yeah, they wake you up early. People will call it brainwashing, using it a negative connotation, but I can't tell you, when you are trained in that environment, you are the most prepared for it just to be second nature under that type of stress. I remember when I was in college, I was doing it's called land nav. So they'll give you land navigation. They'll give you points, just grid points that you have to find. You have to walk to and find. I mean, miles apart, kilometers apart, and in the middle of the night. I found myself like straddling a log over a river, and I paused in the middle of the log, and I was like, I've made some life choices that have gotten me here. Right now, what am I doing? There's no backing out. This is paying for college. But at the same time, you're so tired. You're so hungry. You're buff, like you're in shape. But there's really proof behind what they do. You don't care who your battle buddy is. You don't care where they came from. You don't care what they look like. You don't even necessarily care how they talk to you, because you're all in it for the same mission, and you're all trained the same way. And it's really cool at the end of the day when you do, and shit does hit the fan, you're like a well-oiled machine. And I know being in the military has helped me a lot with life. And I mean, people talk about things that stress them out all the time. And I'm like, but I recognize that my background, I've seen a lot of things that could really change the color of a lot of people's underpants. So it's, it's
Hello.
it's for me, it's like, that's okay. Well, we're going to get through this. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Well, I uh I can tell you that definitely entrepreneurs should bring an extra pair of underwear, put your seatbelt on, and get ready for danger at any time, right? Understanding your risk tolerance. There's been a lot of little gems that have been hit on in this episode, and if you paid attention, then you heard a few important things. I'll recap. The idea that understanding your risk tolerance is important. Knowing what your risk tolerance is in different areas of your life and business, what you're willing to, what you can handle. Risk tolerance is stress testing yourself. It's basically how much can you handle. Risk tolerance would be, okay, you've got stocks which are medium volatility right now. Over the past the first quarter of 2025, it has been volatile, and some people's risk tolerance would be to sell and get the hell out. I can't handle this stress of seeing my portfolio go down so much in value. Where others may, kind of handle a little bit differently, be able to stay a little bit more calm, a little bit more detached. And there's obviously your business, right? You get in, you start it, and it doesn't go as you planned right away, or you're not seeing the results that you want right away. That's stressful, right? What do you do to handle that stress? Well, you can either keep trying new things and understand that's the game. Understand that's the game is testing and trying new things, or you can have a breakdown, spiral out of control, freak out, do something that's going to damage, your sacred business space. I don't know, flip out, say something you regret, make it, I don't know. There's all kinds of different ways we self-sabotage.
Mhm.
Um, uh, you know, but but um, but you also, can kind of you can look at every area of your life and realize that there's a way in which this applies. And so, but I think looking at the business aspect first and foremost is important, because it's what many of you are doing here right now. And so, lots of little gems. A few other things that were kind of touched on in this episode. The importance of AI, guys. It's undisputed. It's unequivocal. It's unbelievable. And it's real, in understanding how to use it and helping us to get ready to spread the message about how to use it in your business and in your marketing is going to be really exciting, because people are really excited to learn how to use it and learn how to make money with it. And the beautiful thing is that if you teach it from just a timeless perspective, and you teach it just real good, quality skills that people actually get results from, it I mean, it'll be really valuable to a lot of people, versus these kind of here today, gone tomorrow, flash in the pan, all this crap that comes out every day. You hear AI this, AI that. There's been so many shit tools that have been made, but there's some good quality stuff that the average bear can use and can really make a difference in their everyday productivity and so forth. And that's the stuff we'll be focused on with people. So, um, Kim, your story is always inspiring. Your confessions are always intriguing. The way you're able to kind of give us a behind the scenes look at your journey, and make it make sense for people who are just getting started, but also those who are going on to, make this more of just a side hustle hobby and a full-time thing like you've done. What are your closing thoughts for any other thing to recap from the episode, or anything else for people to think about?
Oof, it's hard to follow all that. You had a lot of mic drops, Dave. But for anybody, I would just say, just stay the course. Stay the course. It sounds so cliche again. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just see it as, how am I going to overcome this? It's not stopping you. It's testing you to learn something that's important in your business when you come across a hurdle. My journey was not easy per se, but I just took the problems as they came in stride. And it's not like I never cried over it or wanted to throw the computer out the window. I just said, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to get it to work? Instead of saying that didn't work for me. And like Dave was saying, open the materials that you purchased and take them. Open the materials. There's a lot of questions that can be answered right inside of your 5-day challenge with your business plan advisor, with the blueprints. It's one step at a time, honestly, one step at a time. You can do this.
You got this. You can do this. But we're not
earlier.
Yeah, we don't want to be your cheerleaders. We know that that's not what you need. But we'll cheer occasionally. We'll it's not all so serious.
I've
It is
never needed an extra pair of underwear in this business. It's not
no.
that serious.
No. If I've needed an extra pair of underwear, it's been my own fault. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not.
It happens.
Yes, it's not because of anything in this.
Dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more. I have actually been on, just for those who are just in that this is that extra, behind the scenes, after this is the confessions segment of the confessions episode. I had a lady on, this was a couple of years ago. And oh my God, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I couldn't stop her.
Oh.
And I had to go to the bathroom. Okay. And so I basically just logged off. It was coming towards definitely the end. We'd put on a great episode. And basically I was trying to find an entry point and I couldn't. And so I just literally X'd out of the page and dropped off the call totally and completely. It just became her on the screen, right? It literally just became her on the screen. And I was gone. I was done. And I realized, honestly, I realized in that moment, there was just nothing left in life to fear. You know what I mean? Because look, for real, like, this is your job, right? This is what I'm doing now. This is what I do pretty much full time with my life, right? To make a living and so forth. And if basically I just dropped off a call because I had to go use the bathroom.
Because you had sharted. Yeah.
And no, I didn't shart. I didn't shart. I was avoiding that catastrophe. You know what I mean? I was avoiding that catastrophe. It was a close call, absolutely.
That's kind of how I felt after Austin. I was like, well, I feel like everyone's worst fear when they talk on stage is like falling. And like I did that. So like what else could go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. And I still to this day regret not seeing that. Kim's referring to falling off the stage, basically,
I did.
which is
Mhm.
amazing and hard to pull off. I have seen it though. I've seen it from a lady at my daughter's um, um, baptism. She was up on the stage. It was a two-step stage. It
Mhm.
was a
Sounds
two-step
familiar.
stage, very small stage, not a big stage, just basically an elevation difference of two steps.
I can
And
relate.
yeah, she said what she said up at the microphone, and then she went to go come down off the stage, and it was just like her legs stopped working.
Yeah, I feel
I've
that.
never seen anything like it in my life. I literally
Uh-huh.
her body though had momentum, so she kept going, and her legs, her feet had stopped. They basically came to the edge, and they
Mhm.
they couldn't take that. There was no additional steps that were ever taken.
Oh, yeah, I've been
Sh
there too, yeah.
But
You
she
think
have
you're
you?
so there.
But
Oh,
okay, but she went zoos all the way over head first
oh,
off the stage, and
somersault, yeah.
there were family members that yelled, like, some Italian family members and so forth, "Oh my god, she did a header. She took a header, it was the shoes," all this different kinda shit.
Yeah.
But it was a moment where I was like, I mean, people got up and ran to her and picked her up,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but
Kim Bollom.
I didn't see yours. I think you were probably and she got up, she walked away from it, 70, 75-year-old woman. It was not, there was no stretchers needed. No, she
Thank
got
goodness,
the
right?
service continued. Yeah. There
Whew.
was another time I was at a ice skating rink, and there was a guy. I saw this guy and I thought, he looks old. I thought that's pushing it. And sure enough, he went out on the ice
Oh,
and had an arm that he was holding on to until he got out about, I don't know, 30, 40 feet onto the ice, and just let go and was on his own, and tried to take a step, just took one, and just went right back,
oh.
right, right back. I
Yeah,
mean, and it couldn't have been any more. This guy lasted 2 seconds. I mean, on his own, it was bad,
poor
but
guy.
yeah, no, he got carried out on a stretcher. That guy
Oh,
carried out.
poor
I know. That was the worst. I saved the worst for last. But
thing.
the lady at church didn't get. She was a soldier, and you
And you just
got
bounced
right
up.
back
You're in
up,
shock. You can't
like
feel
a.
anything. Yeah.
I mean, almost like a toddler. You ever seen a toddler just
Oh,
hop around and it's like
I'm
unbreakable?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're just compared to some of these other people, of course, much older, the examples, but
Mm.
still I didn't, and I was in the room. It's not like I wasn't there, but you must have popped right up.
I did. I was in shock. I could not believe it. And my shoe was stuck in the stair
Mm.
still. So I was laid out and my shoe was a few feet back.
Which I think is everybody's biggest fear, right?
Right.
Is a shoe or shoelace gets
Mhm.
stuck in an escalator, for
Oh yeah.
example. In your case, I can't think of a more and I'm going somewhere with this, but a more mortifying situation to actually happen, right? Not only are you public speaking, which is the number one feared thing in the world, but you have now fallen off the stage,
Yep.
coming off the stage.
Yep.
Is there anything more? If you could think of, if you were sitting around and you were like, and it hadn't actually happened, and you were like, think of the most mortifying thing that would, and somebody said that to you, would you be like, yeah, that's mortifying as shit? That's actually up there.
Yeah, I think the other thing would be like a wardrobe malfunction would like be the icing
Oh,
on the cake, you know?
I can see that for
You
sure.
know?
And in a way,
But I
you had a
think
wardrobe malfunction. It just wasn't of an
no,
extreme
thankfully
nature.
everything stayed in place except a shoe. Like I'm okay with
And you had a, from what I can remember, it would have taken a lot to get that shirt or
yeah,
pants or
yeah,
something to
yeah.
have
I
a malfunction. It
try
was
to
a
choose some
regular,
yeah.
from what I can remember, it was you were well clothed.
Yes.
But, it wasn't like you were wearing a Janet Jackson, like something could have
Baby. Yeah.
fallen so easily, But anyways,
Oh gosh.
I hear you with that. That would have been the ultimate, and I think definitely for anybody, that's yeah, I can't I don't ever recall somebody having something that extreme up on stage or whatever. But here's my point is that you spoke in front of public, in public speaking, and then at the end you fell off the stage
Mhm.
and you actually survived and are okay
Yeah,
and are
I
still
lived
thriving in life.
to tell the tale.
You're thriving in life, right? You're not, this hasn't haunted you, stopped you. You haven't needed to go to any sort of, therapies or rehabilitation or anything for this. It was just move right on.
Yeah, yeah. It was more, honestly, it was a good conversation starter for, because we had the
Hmm.
hoedown later. So
Yeah.
a lot of people were
So
checking
you've relived it just
yeah.
dozens, if not hundreds of times now.
Well, and honestly, like that's my style. Like when I try to tell people like I'm relatable, I'm not I'm not kidding. Like that's my style. If I can make something awkward, I can find it. You don't even have to tell me. I'll find it. So,
No, I love that. I love it. I That's home to me. It really is. So, well, yeah, you okay. Well, that's a great takeaway. I think if anybody if can take anything away from this, it's that, oh my God, Kim taught, did public speaking and then fell off the stage. And she's better than ever now, actually. She's better for it
yeah,
rather than worse for it. And to me, that's,
that's from there.
oh
I
my
even
God.
got that's all I got though.
But
I could have broke a leg or smashed
totally.
my
Holy
face or
crap.
something. I just got a little like war story. I got a little
Yeah, a scar.
yeah,
Holy shit.
to tell the tale.
No, so you must have come down. I mean, when
Well, I was
you could
holding
have
my
broke a
laptop.
freaking elbow, thank
I
God.
was
Okay,
holding
so
my
you were
laptop, and I
protecting the football into the end zone almost
did
like.
not wanna let it go.
Okay, I see. I understand that. Okay, so you've got and that's
Yeah.
quite a fall, right? You fell down further than level, right? It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like you fell down, but then there was additional, like, because your feet were up on stairs, right? There was additional distance
Yeah.
beyond just what a level fall would have been,
We're like a
right?
wow. Great fall. And I thought, probably good that I did my elbow because otherwise I probably would have went like this.
You don't know. I mean, the older we get, we just pray that our bones are strong enough, you
Oh, I
know?
went to the
I mean, and
chiropractor when I got back. I explained,
well,
homegirl
it's not,
fell, put me back in
it's,
place.
if you're lucky enough to get back to a chiropractor. I'm talking about somebody who, I
Well,
mean, look, breaking hips and breaking various things, you're one and done in some cases. So, I mean, we feel young and spry, but it only takes one bad fall,
oh, as a nurse,
for
yeah, when you
for
hear
anybody.
so and so fell, like when you told me the guy on the ice fell, I was like, that's it.
Oh,
That's it.
no,
As a nurse, you hear that and you're like, oh no. Oh no.
no, I wouldn't. I'd put. I don't know what happened with that guy, but it wasn't good. When he
Mhm.
went down, there was no movement.
Oh,
So, I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, whew, wow. So, anyways, we don't like to see that, of course. So, anyways, what's the takeaway? Well, you're okay after falling off stage, and also, just coming down carefully off stage, potentially not going heels. I don't know. Did you go high
You
heels? Did you have
know,
high
I
heels?
did, and
You
it's
were
not like
really
I wear those
going
every day. I
big.
mean, they were like this big too, so I was
Ugh.
feeling good, like I was like, I got
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah, we're not doing like
And
stilettos, but
yeah, no, I didn't remember that, but and I didn't remember a heel, but either way, I feel for you ladies. I mean, those things. I don't care how women are not more women are not more clumsy and men are not more clumsy. We're both equally as clumsy, and I know that if I had to walk around in those types of shoes, I would be all over the place. I would be busting my ass in every way, shape, or form. And I don't envy you women from having to, no, you don't have to, but from wearing those high heels. And I, look, I would have easily also been throwing myself off of a stage too. There's no doubt in
they'll
my
humble you
mind.
real fast.
Oh God, yeah. And even walking around town. I mean, just walking in potholes and this and that and cracks in yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's it's
Well,
wild.
my neighbor, he's a iron worker, and when I told him I fell off the stage, he's like, that happens a lot. He's like, we have to make stairs a certain
Mm,
way because I told him my heel got stuck in it, and he's like, oh,
oh,
those are old. Those don't meet certain regulations. He's like, he knew
wow.
all about them. I was like,
Wow.
that's crazy that you even know that.
Man,
That's
this
the
guy
thing.
knows a little bit about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I love those kind of guys. Maybe that's his specialty, or maybe he just has some knowledge about it. Either way,
Mm.
yeah. Well, we'll definitely be checking those codes on future stairs and letting them know on future. That's a piece that I didn't really pay a whole
Well,
lot of attention to, but I'm
I'll
definitely going to be
inspect it,
dialed
or
into it
maybe
now.
we can have a team help people up and down the stage.
I or a bar, like a
Right?
like
Yeah,
a yeah, like a I don't know if you'd call it a handicap bar, but
like a handrail.
a handrail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we're old. That's what we're saying, folks. This is really, you know, it's quite
41 is
a
not, yeah.
productive conversation, very hopeful, a lot of hope you'll find somewhere deep, really far down in this conversation. But the bottom line is that we want to try to keep from falling off stage, and lots of opportunity also is happening right before our very eyes. So all right, so be legendary, be great, to all the things. We appreciate you. Get into the affiliate uh, Facebook group if you want to be a part of our Project 100X group challenge that we've got going on. This is not a paid product. This is just a challenge that we've given to our affiliates, and we've said, hey, look, you guys want to create results selling our products. You want to create results as our ambassadors out there on the marketplace. You're going to need to learn how to become a media company. You're going to need to learn how to become a marketing hub of creating content every single day and publishing it. And we'd recommend you start with 3 posts a day. So we've said, hey, post 100 pieces of content a month, do that for 100 days straight, and see where you're at after that. So that's what we've got popping in the affiliate Facebook group. You can go to the Legendary Marketer official Facebook group on Facebook, and join that, hang out there, participate in that, be part of what we're doing there. It's a lot of fun. I'll put the link in the comments, and Kim, they can count on seeing you over there for sure.
1000% every day.
All right. Well, sweet. Love it. And thanks for all your support. I put a link in the chat that looks kind of weird. Let's see if that actually is working. It looks like it is, man. It looks like it is. I hope it's clickable for those of you who may want to click that and join the group. But either way, you can also find it by going to Legendary Marketer Affiliates Official. Legendary Marketer Affiliates Official is the group name on Facebook. There's 3.7 thousand members in this group. This is an updated, curated group from a previous affiliates group that we had where we had 19,000 members in that group. Many were inactive. That was a way in which we updated that community to try to get people who were more focused on what we were doing. And Facebook groups can a lot of times become these cesspools of people just trying to like poach people and sell people stuff. One other thing, just since we've got some diehards left on here taking it to the distance with us, please understand that people pose as me, Kim, and everybody else that's possible out there on the internet. I will never message you at telling you to buy something out of the blue. I will never talk to you about crypto. I will never say, go buy this or send this somewhere out of the blue. That if it feels weird, if you say, it's like stranger danger, man. It's like teaching young kids how to not get into vans with strangers. Don't get into direct message sequences and back and forth conversations with people that look sketchy. And don't send money to random people and then cry about it and say that you got scammed. Be smart. Have some common sense out here. All right, Kim. As always, you rock. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on once again, and everybody will find you at Rise Up with Kim on Instagram, as well as inside of our affiliate Facebook group, hosting our Project 100X challenge. All right, my friends, get out of here. Have a great day. See you, Kim.
Bye.
Be legendary, my friends. Bye-bye.